What if I told you that crushing urge to procrastinate isn't a moral failure? It's not that you're lazy and you don't lack discipline. It's a full blown survival instinct. That knot of dread, that magnetic pull towards literally anything else but the one thing you need to launch. It's your brain's ancient, over-caffeinated security guard trying to protect you from what it thinks is a saber-toothed tiger. It's an alarm system. It's an alarm system that's been tripped. Today, we're not just going to talk about this. We're going to understand exactly why your brain is doing this, and more importantly, give you the practical, brain-friendly tools to turn that alarm off and finally get the job done. How many times have you stared at a blank screen or a horrifying inbox only to find yourself suddenly, passionately deep cleaning the kitchen or sorting the sock drawer, scrubbing the skirting boards? You sort the spice rack alphabetically, and you're now an expert on the history of garden gnomes. You do everything except that one task that moves the needle. And what's the internal monologue? That little voice is a Judgy McJudgerson saying, "You're so useless. You're a failure. Why can't you just do it?" This is the cycle of avoidance, then guilt, then more avoidance that leaves you feeling broken and completely alone. Here's the truth. The advice we get, just try harder, be more disciplined, is utter bollocks. It doesn't work because it's like yelling at a light bulb when the wiring is at fault. You're not lazy, you're not broken. You're just wired for survival, and you're definitely not alone in the messy middle. What you need to understand is that your brain is running on some seriously out-of-date software. Deep down, there's your primitive limbic system, and its main component, the amygdala, is your hypervigilant security guard. Its one job, keep you alive. For our ancestors, the threat was obvious. A predator. Fight or flight. Simple. Here's the problem. Your amygdala hasn't updated its threat list. In your life as a mission-driven entrepreneur, a threat isn't a tiger. A threat is the fear of launching something and being judged. A threat is the anxiety of failing publicly. A threat is the soul-crushing boredom of a tedious task, which is still a threat to your energy. When one of these modern threats hits, your amygdala pulls the fire alarm. It screams, "Danger, danger, abort mission." That emotional reactive part wins the tug of war with your logical planning part, your prefrontal cortex. That overwhelming urge to scroll or binge Netflix, that's your brain's clumsy attempt to give you a quick dopamine hit and make you feel safe right now. This is especially true if you struggle with that fancy procrastination quote called perfectionism. If a mistake feels like a referendum on your entire self-worth, of course your brain wants to avoid it. So, say it with me. You're not lazy, you're just anxious. If procrastination is a threat response, you can't fight it with pure willpower. That just makes the alarm ring louder. The goal is to work with your brain, not against it, and prove to that jumpy amygdala that you are, in fact, safe. Here are 4 brain-based strategies to turn the volume down. Firstly, let's shrink the monster. A huge, vague task like write my report is a giant, scary, undefined monster. Your amygdala hates that. The trick? Break the task down into tiny, delicious bites. The steps must be ridiculously small. Don't write work on report on your list. Write open a new Word document. That's it. Check. Next, write one terrible sentence for the title. Check. These micro moves are so small they feel silly, and that's the whole point. They're too insignificant for your brain to flag as a threat. Every checkmark gives you a dopamine hit, of completion, creating a positive, self-trusting loop. The threat response isn't just a thought, it's also physical. Your body tenses up. You can't think your way out of a physical state of panic. You have to calm the body to calm the mind. Before you even touch that task, take 2 minutes to regulate your nervous system. Try a movement trigger. Stand up, walk around, swing your arms. You are physically showing your brain, I'm not paralyzed by fear. I'm safe and I'm in control. The fear of judgment is a massive threat. Perfectionism is just procrastination in a fancy coat. To fight it, you need to allow imperfection. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Here is the deal you make with your brain. For the next 15 minutes, I give myself full permission to do a terrible, embarrassing job. The goal is not perfection. The goal is simply to start. Giving yourself permission to be imperfect lowers the stakes to zero. It's a low-stakes sprint, and the only goal is effort. When you slip up and procrastinate, what's your reaction? A storm of negative self-talk. I'm so useless. This is like pouring gasoline on the anxiety fire. Instead of beating yourself up, try this shift. Okay, I'm feeling a really strong urge to avoid this. This is my brain's threat response kicking in because this feels overwhelming. It doesn't mean I'm lazy. This is the profound shift. You stop being the victim of your laziness and become the calm, compassionate leader of your own mind. You can then ask, what tiny move do I need to feel safe enough to start? That old, boring story that procrastination is a moral failing has caused us so much unnecessary shame. It's time for a new one. Procrastination is just a signal. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage you. It's trying to protect you. It's asking for help. You cannot win a war against your own biology. The path to reclaiming your focus is through understanding, not forcing. It's about learning to work with your brain, not against it. So the next time you feel that pull to just put something off, just pause. See it as a signal and answer it with compassion and a tiny, silly action. That is how you turn off the alarm and finally get to work. If this video shifted your perspective and made you feel seen, please give it a like and share it with a fellow mission-driven entrepreneur. And don't forget to subscribe for more on the science of unshakable self-belief. What's one task you've been putting off? Let me know the first tiny step you'll take in the comments below.